What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Wednesday. That's right, it's hump day. Pleasure to have you back on the channel. Hope you're having an awesome week. Now, if we have a look at what is going on right now, we are starting to see a little bit of red creep back into the market. This is obviously because yesterday we had a massive green day, so it's pretty normal for the market to have a little bit of a cool-off period. Plus, some people are taking profits as well. That being said, guys, I think it's been quite some time since we've given away a shirt. So I do have a Crypto Zombie size large t-shirt, and that's from Unibright. If you guys are interested, you could drop me a comment below, and yeah, why not? Because it'll also give you the opportunity to also potentially win a ledger. So it's like a double whammy today, okay? And I do love reading your comments and talking to you guys as well. So having a look at what is going on in the market today, let's give it a little bit of a refresh right here. So we have pretty much steady, 132 billion. We have Bitcoin sitting around $3,899. You'll notice Bitcoin dominance has slipped even lower to 51.6%, which means that the altcoins have been feeling the love lately, clearly. Now, if we look at the biggest gainers on the front page, we have ABBC coin up again, another 25%. I don't understand what is so attractive about this coin. I don't get it, or this token in particular. But we also have Bitcoin Gold, Ravencoin, Odom, Digitex Futures, Theta, Huobi, Veritasium, and Engine, again, still up today. Now, moving on over to our buddy Fetch.ai. Yeah, guys, so you had reached out to me and asked me my opinion on this ICO. And I told you guys that I would not buy into it immediately. So, I mean, for the most part, unless you basically bought right here and were able to sell, or if you're just really good at purchasing the dips and then kind of selling the highs, you know, as we go, well, then, yeah, it's still going down, guys. So I tried my best to warn you. I did. But anyway, moving on, looking at coin market cap right here, the one thing I wanted to talk about specifically, of course, we talked about this yesterday, and, you know, we do know that the volume has increased, as you can see right here. Even back when we were up, you know, in this higher levels, in the 5,000, 6,000 range, we were still only getting around 10 billion, you know, 9, 8, 11, and now look at this. We're all the way up to 27, 28, 35, right? Now, we do know some of that could be wash trading. I'll get to that a little bit later, but I just want to look really quick at the charts before we move on. So we do have Bitcoin kind of hanging out, still doing nothing. We're bouncing around in this channel. We can't seem to get out of it, right? Now, we do keep putting in sort of higher lows, which is good, right? It's a good thing. I mean, if we just, you know, draw right here, you can see we haven't really fallen. So, but it's not official. It's not official yet, right? So really what we're trying to do, let me get that out of there, is essentially trying to break out of this channel. So we need to get above this $4,136 line. And then personally, a lot of people are saying 4,002, but I have my eyes on 4,365 personally. But getting off of that, I wanted to just look at the bigger picture. We do know that this is what we're looking at. We're still trying to break out of this downward falling, you know, pattern right here. And what happened when we got really close to the wedge? Well, we fell the first time. And now we're starting to do the same thing again. So people are worried, you know, if we get really close to the end, are we going to drop back down even lower again? Now, it is a possibility, but there's one indicator I wanted to, actually, well, it's two indicators. Well, it's one indicator, but in two different ways. I want to show you, we have, these are the moving averages, right? So we have the 50, 100, and 200. Now, I'm going to get rid of the 200 for a second here, because what I really wanted to point out was, for the first time in quite a while, we are sitting above both of these indicators. Now, if you go back, when's the last time we were sitting above both of them? Well, we were a little bit here, but it was very, very short, and obviously we were pumping when that was happening. Well, it's a little different right now because we've actually been going down. So if you look at the last time that we actually like sustained above it for a lengthy period of time, well, that was during the bull run of 2017. So not saying that this is kicking the bull run off, but it's a positive indicator, and we haven't really seen it like this in quite some time. So I do have my eyes on this, and that's just something to point out. Also, something that's been a little bit of a shock is the trading view saying buy. People are actually saying right now they're looking to buy. So this is pretty interesting because usually it's in the strong sell or the sell or in the lower neutral area. So looks like people are feeling a little bit more positive than they have been, clearly, for quite some time. Now, I do want to talk about how, you know, we did close a positive month, right? We were up 11% after having a 6-month of just red candles for 6 months straight, right? We finally got rid of that streak. So that was a good thing as well. Now, it didn't just help Bitcoin, but also it helped to push the broader market higher with the Bloomberg Galaxy Crypto Index increasing 16% in February as well. Now, some people are saying don't get too excited. They're saying based on this GTI Global Strength Indicator, a measure of upward and downward movements of successive closing prices, Bitcoin is in overbought territory. That's interesting. In addition, right here, I'll show you, I'll zoom in, the magenta tail in the chart below the signal, it signals a downtrend forming, which could take the Bitcoin to newer lows, right? So obviously we're trying to get through that psychological barrier of $4,000. Also, I don't know what happened on this website. I accidentally highlighted the entire website in red and I have no idea how to unhighlight it. So I guess every time I come back to Bloomberg, that's going to be a problem. So anyway, but I do want to talk about the crypto dog. Now, he's a trader as well. And he said either this volume isn't representative of reality, possible, could be wash trading, right? We've talked about this. It very well could be being calculated, or we're talking about, busting out into a raging bull market, right? Now, he does come down here and say, seriously, the volume could be fake. I have no idea how they calculate the volume for that ticker. And, and then he mentions things like BitMax right here, which is, has insane amounts of volume, right? So we don't really know 100% if we can trust the volume. But, Maddie Greenspan from eToro, he says that he has drawn attention to why high market activity could be a positive sign for the space moving forward. He once explained that more meaningful moves often go hand in hand with higher volumes. He later doubled down on his thought process through a number of mediums. So he's saying that, usually when you have these crazy moves that have meaning, they come with lots of volume. Now, a lot of this isn't even being factored in. Don't forget, we have, for example, over in Venezuela, if we have a look over here at local Bitcoins, this is going through the roof over here. I mean, look at how much Venezuela is purchasing Bitcoin over the counter, and none of this is being reflected in the price because they're buying it for flat value, right? Just flat out. So that's something to consider as well, and that's not even being seen in the charts. So I just wanted to point that out. Now, here's an interesting article. So a new report claims that cash is on the verge of collapse in the UK, with cash transactions expected to almost vanish in the next decades. They also say, meanwhile, Bitcoin transaction volume is surging towards an all-time high, and we have mainstream vendors like Starbucks and Kroger's are considering methods of cryptocurrency payments. So the UK report titled Access to Cash Review says that the country's cash system will become almost obsolete in the next 15 years. It comes as digital payments overtook cash for the first time in the UK last year. Almost 400 cash ATMs are shut down every single month in Britain, and hundreds of bank branches have closed their doors. Now, this is contrast to the 100% rise in Bitcoin ATMs in just the past year. So you have some British retailers, vendors already refusing to accept cash for many reasons. Obviously, it's a burden to take cash every day to the bank. Obviously, it's a slower process, and it's it's easier for employees to steal, right? So they're trying to get away from cash. So they say digital money is faster, safer, and cheaper. So, for example, in Sweden, less than 1% of all payment value takes place in cash. Even public restrooms are digital only. In China, the rapid rise of WeChat and Alipay means that cash is practically unheard of in urban areas. Even street buskers hold out QR codes to accept tips and payments. So that's just something to note as well. That's just sort of what's going on globally. But if we want to still focus on just crypto, let's not even talk about volume or talk about price or anything. Why don't we talk about user adoption? We saw so many dApps not being used. There still are a lot of dApps that are not being used, right? A lot of them are just graveyards at this point. But look at this, for example. We have Tippin, since it launched 3 months ago, has had over 15,000 tips have been sent, according to Kaza. Now, this is nothing to brag about. Clearly, 15,000 is really not much, but it is a start. And if we look at this, also, Basic Attention Token's wallet is ranked first by 24-hour users on the State of the dApps rankings. It currently boasts 1,224 daily users and 2,658 transactions in just the last day. Actually, this is statistics from March 3rd, so it's a little outdated by a few days. But in terms of monthly transactions, the figure is currently around 56,145. Also, you have MakerDAO, the second ranked dApp by active users, has 800 daily users and 52,157 transactions in the past month. I also have a little bit to talk about Brave Browser later, so you're going to want to stick around for that one. But Oh, well, actually, it's right here. I thought it was later. So yeah, check this out. Speaking of, we have Brave Browser finally hitting 20 million downloads, and this is according to AppBrain, as you can see right here. Top 1%. Boom. But I do have more to talk about that later. The one thing I wanted to say before we move on, though, is Tap Network, right? Now, what are they? Well, they've partnered with Brave, and Basic Attention Token clearly is a part of this. So why is this so important, right? Like, no, I'm not trying to like pump Basic Attention Token or anything like that. I'm just saying, think about what they've done, okay? You can now use this at over 250,000 different places and different brands, right? You have Starbucks, Amazon, Apple, Uber, Nike, Hilton Hotel, and these are all already integrated. You don't have to do anything, right? And why is this such a successful thing? Well, BAT is likely to be among the first cryptocurrencies, if not the first, that could be widely used. Why is it? Well, think about it. You download Brave Browser and boom, you have a wallet. And they start you with $5, right? You guys know that, right? If you guys use my referral link below, you guys get $5 worth of Basic Attention Token to basically start and use on the platform. So you download it, they start you with money, you have a wallet. You literally don't have to do anything. How easy is that onboarding process? So you got to just think about it. Making it easier, making it so that people don't have to go through these 100 steps and set up wallets and do seed phrases and all this other stuff, which I'm not saying that that's not a good thing. You need to keep your private keys safe for sure. But for beginners and people just getting interested, imagine somebody that's never been in crypto before and now they're just watching ads and they're getting paid for it, right? Crazy. So that could definitely spark some interest. I think that's way more interesting than, Facebook coin or something like that. But the other thing too is just the amount of people in the space that have been talking about it. I mean, how much has Bitcoin been mentioned on just the Joe Rogan show, right? You had Singularity Net on there, right? And so also stacking sats, which is a hashtag that's been going around lately. You can see right here, $25. And you have Jack from Twitter also contributing stacking sats, $29. Now, I know for a guy who has as much money as he does, that's not exactly a lot of money, but it's just the fact that he's showing his interest and people are seeing this. In fact, he actually was on a podcast, Tales from the Crypt. This was episode 61. You can check the whole episode out here. It's about 35 minutes. I will drop that below if you're interested. But basically to summarize, he was speaking to Marty Bent on the show and he mentioned that he's been buying Bitcoin using the Cash app. And he says he's been maxing out his weekly limit. So even though he didn't say how much he's been buying, well, the limit on Cash app is currently $10,000. So we can assume that he's been buying about $10,000 worth of Bitcoin a week, according to him, right? And then obviously asked about the stacking Satoshis movements I just showed you. He says, yeah, he saw it on Twitter and he thought it was awesome. He said he would have participated, but he already exceeded his limit on Cash app, right? So that's just people seeing more stuff like this. And on top of it, look at what you're seeing with these ETPs. You have Swiss Stock Exchange 6 Group that listed an Ethereum-based exchange-traded product. So they announced Tuesday that the trading for Ethereum ETP started on March 5th under the ticker symbol AETH, right? So they also have a few other ones. They have the basket index, right? That's called HODL, H-O-D-L. That's pretty cool. So that's just more good news as well coming out. And I wanted to highlight something that Jack Mallers said. Now, he works over at Zap. He's very interested in Bitcoin Lightning Network as well. And I just want to read you his little, it's not like a big tweet storm. It's only 6 tweets. But he says, I've been in China last week talking all things Bitcoin, Lightning, Zap, and what the future may look like. The reception has been amazing and made this experience something I will never forget. He says, Bitcoin is the world's first global language. All of us don't natively speak the same language, eat the same food, enjoy the same hobbies, but we all gravitate to projects like Bitcoin, Lightning, Zap. Obviously, he's going to promote Zap. That's his project, right? But anyway, Bitcoin is not software that is lacking consumer adoption, an app that is not meeting performance benchmarks, or a business that needs a change in leadership. Bitcoin is a global phenomenon, an idea and a movement that represents a more connected and free world. The force of Bitcoin overcomes all language barriers, government restrictions, public shaming, social attacks, and corporate enemies. It's something you don't truly understand until you see it, you use it, and interact with it. Some may not realize, but we are all teammates, friends, and allies everywhere, all using this idea to make the world a better place than what it was when they had entered. And finally, he goes on to talk about, he's speechless about Bitcoin mom's thing being translated. So obviously she had, I forget what it was. Oh, she had her bank account closed because she purchased some weed stocks, some cannabis stocks, right? So that's just a crazy thing too, to consider that, you know, these guys are going to close your bank accounts if they think you're doing certain things, right? You know, Bitcoin's not going to shut your bank account down. Bitcoin doesn't care what you do, right? Now I wanted to get back to this thing from yesterday because, you know, we did have a few comments about, you know, well, yeah, but they're not really doing it directly, right? Like Starbucks isn't taking crypto directly. In fact, to quote them specifically, they say our role as the flagship retailer for Bakkt is to consult and develop applications for customers to convert their digital assets into US dollars, which can then be used in our stores. Okay, we anticipate that a range of cryptocurrencies will gain traction with customers, and through our work with Bakkt, we will be uniquely positioned to constantly consider and offer customers new and unique ways to pay seamlessly at Starbucks, etc. Okay, so everyone's like, well, this isn't the vision, right? I get it. I get what you're saying. Like, so basically Starbucks, they're not handling Bitcoin, you know, they're going to have instant converted into dollars for them, right? But let me just say this. When you are like if you're like a gold bug, or like you're somebody that owns a lot of gold, say you have a lot of gold. Well, you could buy a gold card, right? And that credit card is linked to your gold account, and you use that credit card and you swipe it, and then that deducts the balance of your gold, which is somewhere in a reserve somewhere, right? So does that mean that that's not like the vision like of store of value? You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously the idea is to get people aware of it, right? And like, I still think that Bitcoin is great for like, you're going to buy a house, right? Yeah, I mean, I don't mind waiting 10 minutes for the block, right? But yeah, it doesn't exactly work when you're out in public, when you're at a place like Starbucks, but I still think it's a step in the right direction. And yeah, I mean, you have guys like you know, Yessi Bello Perez from NextWeb saying pretty much the same thing, like that's not the vision, but hey, it's a step in the right direction, and you know, you got to take it. You got to take it. Why are you going to sit here and bash it? You know, baby steps, guys. Now, getting back to the Venezuela thing, I told you I was going to bring it back up again. So we can see right here that they are having massive amounts of volume surges. Now, they actually got up for an interview with a Venezuelan. His name is Jose Rafael Pina Golem, and they recently interviewed him, and he says that all the stories about our economic, political, and social crisis makes it easy to forget that in Venezuela there is still life and movement, and in spite of all the chaos in the country, most people are not engaged in political conflict. They are just focusing their efforts on finding enough money to survive. He also mentioned that a great migration is happening as people that he knows have already migrated to other countries. He says there's more people living on the street and eating out of the garbage than I've ever seen before in my life, going on to acknowledge that Bitcoin is increasingly being used by Venezuelan residents as digital assets have become a lifeline, a necessity essentially for some of these nations' residents. Now, he does say, let's not overstate the popularity of Bitcoin, and please don't use our crisis to attract attention to your crypto campaign. I don't want to just single out one project. He says there's many examples, including the supposed more than 2,500 merchants who accept Dash in the country as well, right? An airdrop campaign from AirTM, and a lesser known crypto donation project from Coinbase, you know, and we also saw people sending Nano to Venezuela as well. And he pointed out that the problem is that Venezuelans, you know, they aren't able to transact in cryptocurrencies that easily. And he says the ones that are not the ones that are in most urgent need of the help. Moreover, digital assets are still somewhat unknown, believe it or not, to a lot of the Venezuelans. And the average person over there says that they have to work so hard to barely make enough money to eat. So that's the situation, guys. So they're, you know, most of them unfortunately haven't even been exposed. The ones that really need it, maybe they can't afford it or they don't have a way to purchase it. And, you know, the ones that are turning to it are doing it out of pure desperation, right? Now, getting off all that topic, I want to talk about how, man, it just seems like Coinbase, unfortunately, cannot stay out of the news lately. So now we're having some complaints with XRP, right? So, you know, we have destination tags. They use these on different things like Monero, Stellar, XRP, right? And basically, it's important that you make sure to include the number when sending this or any exchange because, you know, if you don't, well, mistakes happen. But instead of manually fixing this problem, which other exchanges do, Coinbase apparently says that XRP is permanently lost. And yeah, we know that that's not true. So it's not that the XRP is sent to the wrong address, only that the exchange can't work out where to assign the crypto. So this is a process that can be solved fairly painlessly. All the user has to do is prove he owns the address where the money was sent by making another payment, right? And that would end it. So you see a lot of people upset over here. You got, Whitewind, he says, now I'm getting frustrated. Coinbase is not able to recover. The XRP most definitely isn't lost. It's in your hot wallet and you're not able to recover. No, you simply refuse to. And Dr. T also responded and said, being too arrogant to fix this is a sign that we have to campaign and let Brian Armstrong know it's been 4 days, but still false information. XRP is not lost. It's with Coinbase. So yeah, I mean, they just can't seem to get a break lately, guys. Now also dealing on that, with that same topic of, selling data and Coinbase having to transition those employees out, right? You had Chainalysis. Now they published an official statement clarifying that they do not collect or sell users' personal data when it provides its services to cryptocurrency exchanges. And they're kind of saying this in retaliation to everything going on. They want to make it publicly known for themselves. So they said, while the executive did not explicitly identify these intelligent firm names, Chainalysis has evidently responded by clarifying that it does not require or store, let alone circulate, any personal data in order to conduct transaction analysis. So they say exchanges that use Chainalysis submit their transaction data, not personally identifiable customer data, to Chainalysis to automate the process of transaction monitoring, okay? So that's basically what they were saying, and I just wanted to point that out as well. We also have the government of Argentina has agreed to coexist in blockchain projects that are backed by Binance Labs and Latin America crypto exchange X. So following the decision, the country's Ministry of Production and Labor has signed an agreement with Binance committing to March investments of up to $50,000 in each project. So according to the release, the Argentine government will fund up to 10 blockchain projects each year over a 4-year term. Investments will be funneled through Founders Labs and Argentine Block Accelerator. So also just, if you guys don't remember, earlier in the month, the country's official state transport card, which is used by 7 million people in 37 locations, started accepting Bitcoin as well. Now, while we're kind of on the topic of this, I know we were not too happy with the Fetch.ai outcome, but this was actually kind of interesting. I found out. So with Celer, they say 6% of the total supply have been allocated for the sale on March 9th, which isn't really much, I know, but it says individual contributions will be capped at $1,500. But here's the interesting thing. They're looking to raise $4 million from the sale, and they set an asking price of 0.0067 cents per Celer token. But what's interesting is that's only a fraction above what people got in during the seed sale, which is like the sale before the sale. You see what I'm saying? So you're basically getting it at, early investment prices. It says the project also held a private sale as well, which raised $23.5 million by selling 15.5 of the total supply. The asking price for Celer tokens in the private sale was 0.015 cents each. So in other words, the Launchpad is actually going to be offering Celer at a 55% discount, cheaper than what the people got in on the private sale. That's pretty incredible. I've never heard of that before. So these guys are going to be able to get it even cheaper than the guys at the private sale, and only just a fraction more expensive than those at seed. So I really haven't seen a project do that before. So that was kind of interesting. Other news I wanted to talk about, crypto news from Elastrum. It says, despite all the stories about Samsung, Facebook, and Starbucks, we're sharing our latest news. You could buy Icon ICX directly with euros on Elastrum. Hello, Icon World, one of the biggest blockchain networks. Welcome aboard. And I think currently, these guys only have 13 or 14 cryptos right now. So it's pretty cool to be included in such an early stage. We also have a Bitcoin Cash city in North Queensland, where apparently they only have Bitcoin Cash and that's all they use. So, I don't have any Bitcoin Cash, so I probably won't be visiting anytime soon, but if you guys want to check that video out, you can. I also want to talk about Mercury FX, a global currency exchange provider with offices in London, Hong Kong, and Cape Town, says that its new XRapid payment corridor to the Philippines is up and running. The first payment using XRapid was just completed on behalf of a client in the UK who needed to send more across the world to pay for his honeymoon. Mercury FX says it plans to open up as many as 10 new payment corridors using Ripple's XRP-based XRapid by the middle of this year, including routes to Canada and the Middle East. And it wouldn't be a crypto video without talking about QuadrigaCX, right? So what is going on now? Well, it looks like they got granted a 45-day court extension to find the missing $140 million. So you had Judge Michael Wood extended the creditor protection deadline to April 23rd. which would protect Quadriga from potential lawsuits. So the exchange owes a total of $250 million to its 115,000 users, out of which 140 of it is still missing since the mysterious death of Quadriga's CEO. But getting on to something a little more positive, we do have major web browser Opera has announced the upcoming launch of Opera Touch for iOS. According to an official press release published Tuesday, Opera Touch is a Web3 browser with an integrated crypto wallet, support for Ethereum, and interactions with dApps. Although the launch date of Opera Touch for iOS has not been stated, the press release notes that users can sign up to test the app through the site. And finally, we have Estonia-based digital trading platform DX Exchange has added tokenized exchange-traded funds, ETFs, to its service. According to their release, the introduction of tokenized ETFs on the exchange complies both with the latest guidelines issued by the European Securities and Markets Authority and with the EU Markets and Financial Instruments Directive 2. Chief Operating Officer at DX said, as of today, there's over $130 billion worth of crypto that can now be invested in digital stocks and ETFs. Crypto investors who wish to hedge part of their crypto portfolio had only used USD stable tokens and were limited. Now they can invest in real world assets using the blockchain. And honestly, guys, just pointing out some things, we're slowly solving it. We're slowly figuring it out. Keep your own private keys while using an exchange. You have BISC, decentralized USD peg. We obviously have Maker, and then we have DAI, stablecoin, protect your sales from competitions, Monero, and Open Bazaar decentralized marketplace. So guys, if that's not enough to make you happy on this Wednesday, I don't know what is, but thank you so much for coming back today. A lot of stuff to talk about today. You never know what you're going to get in these markets. Always something unique, always something different. So that being said, I want to say thank you so much for everyone that's been supporting the channel. You guys freaking rock. Also, friendly reminder, if you hate watching ads, you know what to do. Download the Brave browser, link below. Definitely check it out, guys. I think the Brave browser alone is going to be one of these. I think it's going to be one of those really killer things that really helps to usher it in. So I'm very positive for the basic attention token and for Brave moving forward. And obviously, guys, thank you for everyone that's been supporting the channel and using my links to, keep your crypto safe on ledgers. And that's it for me today, guys. So it's Wednesday. Looking forward to see you tomorrow. I might have a few surprises coming up. We'll see. I always got little tricks up my sleeve, but I'm not going to let any cat out of the bag anytime soon. So that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. I freaking love you. Everyone that's been liking, subscribing, and commenting, turning on the bell notification, joining the Telegram group. It's totally free if you want to hop in and just hang out and talk crypto all day. And that is it for me. So my name is K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto and peace out.